For 18 years, I was blind. Then one day, I finally opened my eyes and discovered that the woman sleeping beside me is the reigning Empress herself, the maid whose cheeks I pinch every day, the greatest sword immortal in the world. And it gets worse. Even the old mutt living in my house is a 400,000-year-old primordial beast. The Empress feared I might be used as a pawn by her enemies, so she deployed the most powerful warriors in the land to live around me as ordinary villagers. But she never could have imagined that my blindness is completely voluntary. I sealed my own eyes and my own soul sense by choice. You see, I transmigrated into this novel and awakened the blind sword saint system. As long as my eyes stay sealed, I keep growing stronger. I can even spin the system's reward wheel for top-tier prizes. But back when I first went blind, the adjustment was brutal. I had zero martial arts knowledge and nearly starved to death on the street. Then, just in time, I met a wealthy young lady. She claimed she needed a fake husband to get her family off her back about marriage. A half-starved blind man being offered a free meal and a roof? I said yes before she finished the sentence. And just like that, I stumbled into the sweet life of a kept man. Now, it is the 10th year since I sealed my eyes. My soul sea has been quiet for a long time, until a system chime rings out. Congratulations, player, you have drawn a top-tier reward. Turns out my luck just went through the roof. I have pulled a celestial-grade prize, the Shattering Illusions Sword Heart. In an instant, a terrifying sword intent is born inside me. Just a single careless leak of its power slices a massive crack across the entire sky. My heart nearly stops. No way! One sword strike actually split the heavens. I clamp down on every trace of my aura immediately. I remind myself firmly, I am not invincible yet. Stay low. Stay invisible. My lord, are you alright? My maid Yara burst through the door in a panic, her clear eyes full of shock and confusion. Please. I am cool, deadly, and absolutely unhinged. What could possibly go wrong? I say, and give her soft cheek a little pinch out of habit. My fingertips meet that familiar, satisfying smoothness. Looking at her flustered face, a random idea strikes me. Yara, do you want to learn the sword? Yara covers her scarlet cheeks with both hands and stammers, Yes, I want to protect my lady and my lord. I clasp my hands behind my back with exaggerated wisdom, my face arranged into a look of deep nostalgia, even though I find the whole thing kind of funny. I clear my throat and start making things up. Once, an old beggar told me my bones were extraordinary, a 1 in a million natural talent for martial arts. He insisted on passing me a sword scripture. He called himself some kind of supreme sword grandmaster. Said something like, without me, the sword world would be lost in eternal night, the sword path through the ages, and so on. I figured he was probably a con man, flipped through a few pages, and used the book to prop up a wobbly table leg. Still, some of the insights on sword cultivation were actually kind of interesting. I will share a bit with you today. At first Yara is only pretending to listen, playing along to humor me. But as I keep talking, drawing on those half-real, half-fabricated insights from the system, her breathing quietly quickens. A rare, crystal-clear light of sudden enlightenment begins to bloom in her eyes. Then, dense sword intent starts swirling around her body, condensing into clusters of swaying red spider lilies. A moment later, she shudders violently, and breaks through her bottleneck on the spot. She steps into the first-rank clarity stage. Yara's mind erupts like a stormy sea. The way she looks at me now is full of awe she has never felt before. She thinks to herself, the Lord is truly unfathomable, a casual lesson, and this is the result. I have no idea that I have just accidentally created a top-tier expert. I stretch lazily and my mind is already drifting to something else. Groceries. I mumble something about needing vegetables and stroll out the gate without a care. This sleepy little village looks completely ordinary. In truth, it is a rebuilt extension of Sky Palace, the beating heart of the Wei Empire. Chancellor Zheng, disguised as the village chief, stands outside, face full of worry, staring up at the massive crack in the sky. He spots me tapping along with my cane, completely unhurried. He immediately swaps his worried expression for a wide, warm smile and greets me. That is when I remember the bone-reading technique the system gave me ages ago. I have never had a chance to test it, and here stands the perfect test subject. The thought barely forms before I act, no hesitation at all. I raise my hand and land a firm slap right onto the Chancellor's face, then start patting and poking around. Chancellor Zheng's forehead, vein bulges so hard it could burst. He stands second only to the Empress herself in this entire empire. Never in his life has anyone groped his face in public. Old man, your destiny is remarkable. Instead of serving at court making your name known across the land, why are you hiding here as a tiny village chief? I push further, grabbing him by the nose. Think about what you have been doing with your life. Have you been working hard all these years? Did you ever get a raise? And I can tell, the energy between your brows is dark. You are about to have a very bloody few days. The general next door, disguised as a coal seller, finally loses it. He doubles over laughing, barely able to breathe. The man who commands the entire imperial court with a word is getting his nose pulled by a blind man. The scene is truly something else. Just then, Empress Medusa arrives in a sweep of red silk. She had just finished hearing Yara's report and curiosity got the better of her. She came to see for herself. By this point I have already drifted over to the vegetable stall. The vendor is Zane, the northern prince currently plotting his rebellion. Hey, do you have any onions? He is still seething over that crack in the sky and his treason plans. Are you blind? Look yourself. He glances up and his face turns black as a burnt pot the moment he sees me. He has fantasized about a future where he overthrows the Empress and claims her for himself. In that fantasy, I am the man who stole everything from him. So he tosses his vegetables aside and is about to rough me up. When I speak up, calm as ever. Hey, that accent is northern, right? Listen, do yourself a favor, get your family out of the north, that place is not safe. He blinks. Why? The northern warlord is about to rebel. His beloved son has already slipped into the capital to stir up chaos from the inside. It will not be long before the whole family gets dragged to the execution grounds. The moment those words land, Zane looks like he has been struck by lightning. His face shifts completely. He is stunned. He has not even made his move yet. How does this blind man know any of this? He stares at me with pure murder in his eyes. How do you know that? I give a mysterious smile and pat his shoulder lightly. A blind man who can read fortunes, is that really so strange? Zane is so furious he almost spits blood. He is about to explode, and then goes dead silent. Because Empress Medusa is walking straight toward them, dressed plainly but radiating absolute authority. What brings you here? I turn, smiling gently toward that familiar presence. My world is dark, but I always know when she is near. Medusa's beautiful eyes hold a half-amused look as they rest on me, then flick to a sweat-drenched Zane beside us. Her voice is casual. Just taking a walk. I happened to hear you mention the northern warlord's plot to rebel. I would love to hear more. In an instant, the whole busy market goes dead silent. The crowd is horrified. This blind man is out of his mind, openly discussing high treason, the kind of talk that gets your head taken off. A wave of sharp inhales ripples through the crowd. I shake my head like it is nothing and speak with total confidence like I'm talking about the weather. This is not gossip. 3 years ago, when Her Majesty took the throne, the northern warlord was already secretly stockpiling soldiers. He has been expanding his territory and recruiting mercenaries and killers by the hundreds. His ambitions have never been subtle, and now his own son has personally led a squad of elite assassins into the capital. The moment chaos breaks out inside the city, 1 million northern soldiers will march straight for the capital. Silence falls so complete you could hear a pin drop. Zane has gone completely numb. Fear drowns out every other feeling. He cannot believe it. Does this blind man have full map vision? A plan years in the making. Airtight, he thought. And this man just laid it all out like morning small talk. Do you have proof? Medusa's voice turns serious. Beneath it is a cold edge that most would miss. I immediately strike a heroic pose and declare loudly, in the interest of keeping this village peaceful, I will read the fates right here and now. I press my fingers together in an elaborate fortune-telling gesture, then announce with absolute certainty, Zane's assassins are hiding in the Chancellor's estate at this very moment, and they are about to make it run red with blood. Nearby, Chancellor Zheng, still playing the village chief, goes pale as ash, cursing inwardly. Does this blind man's mouth have some divine blessing on it? How is he right again? Empress Medusa gives a single look. The Imperial Guard commander, disguised as a wine seller, vanishes on the spot. Moments later, a confidential report comes back, confirmed. Hidden assassins have been pulled from the Chancellor's estate. Zane's mind completely shatters. Every defense he had crumbles. His spiritual power is sealed by the Imperial Guards and he is dragged away like a limp fish. As they haul him off, the look he gives me is pure venom. He looks like he wants to eat me alive. I, meanwhile, am glowing with the warm joy of doing my good deed for the day. I even call after his retreating figure, hey, listen to me. Get your family somewhere safe. Running into me today, that was your lucky break. Those words send Zane into such a rage that he spits a mouthful of blood and passes out cold. The next day, I am lounging in my bamboo chair, enjoying the breeze, when the system chimes in my ear. Fated protagonist Zane has been successfully suppressed. 600 fate points deducted from his total. Rewards granted, 1 heaven-tier spirit herb, soul-devouring blossom, and 200 pounds of celestial-grade dog chow. With a single thought, the rare heaven-tier spirit herb appears in my hand. It can cure the Empress of a chronic cold illness she has suffered for years. But I think about it, and decide not to give it to her. Not yet. She is still basically a stranger to me. My wife comes first, and my lady is just an ordinary woman, but if she takes this herb, it could add 100 years to her life. I pull off the petals and grind them down, drop everything into the soul-refining cauldron, and brew it into a bowl of porridge that looks plain but hums with hidden spiritual energy. Husband, did you miss me already after just a moment apart? The courtyard gate pushes open softly. Medusa steps in with a gentle smile. Today she wears plain everyday clothes, but nothing can hide that imperial grace. I sensed her coming already. A smile rises naturally to my face. I lift the warm bowl of porridge and walk toward her. Here, I say lightly. Have some porridge, you look tired. Morning light falls softly across our little courtyard. The scene is so ordinary, just 2 people, like any other couple, and yet it radiates a warmth that tugs at something deep. Medusa pauses. As the Empress who holds the power of life and death, she has long grown used to scheming courts and icy calculation. But now, looking at the unguarded smile on this blind husband's face, something inside her chest takes a quiet, unexpected hit. Ripples spread. She says nothing. She quietly takes the bowl, lowers her head, and drinks a sip. Then those cool eyes fly wide open. Disbelief crosses her face. That taste. It is the soul-devouring blossom. The divine herb she has spent years searching for without success has been quietly dissolved into a plain bowl of porridge, and handed to her, just like that, without a word of ceremony. A gentle warmth floods through her entire body with each swallow. The cold illness that has tormented her for years, the one that stumped every imperial physician, dissolves in moments. I reach into my pocket, pull out a handkerchief without thinking, and gently wipe a small drop of porridge from the corner of her mouth. In that instant, her mind goes completely blank. Every strategy for managing her ministers, every bit of imperial authority and dignity she carries, it all crumbles before something this simple and gentle. She stares at me, pulled by some invisible force to speak. The Kai family has served the court for generations. If I were to ask you to serve Her Majesty, would you be willing? No. My refusal is instant and clean. Medusa's eyes narrow. A flash of irritation crosses her face. Am I some kind of monster? How can he reject me so easily? She sets the bowl down on the stone table beside her with a quiet clink. She moves as if to leave. I still have not figured out why her mood changed so fast, when a sharp, piercing voice cuts through the entire village. By imperial decree, Kai is summoned to meet His Majesty. I bolt upright from my bamboo chair. Wait, the Emperor? Could it be that my fortune-telling at the market reached the Empress's ears that quickly? Has she come in person to recruit me? Yara bursts into the courtyard, face flushed red, gasping for breath. She pitches her voice dramatically and throws herself into the performance. My lord, His Majesty is here, please come out. She drags me to the door. Before I can even fumble my way into a kneel, a steady hand catches me. There, atop a jade palanquin, pearl curtains and an imperial crown sway gently in the breeze. Medusa reclines lazily on the jade throne, a small curve at the corner of her lips. She looks down at me with those composed eyes and speaks in a teasing tone. No need for formalities. I have come specifically to invite you to serve at court. I am honored by your Majesty's kindness, but this humble commoner has little talent. I fear I would fall short of any official post. Medusa does not look the least bit annoyed. She simply glances at Yara beside her. Yara immediately understands. She steps forward, leans close, and whispers, My lord, please stop being stubborn. When Her Majesty comes to your door in person, she is not leaving without you. And my lady has already gone ahead to the capital. She will not be back for a while. Don't you want to see her sooner? Hearing that my lady has gone to the capital, I think it over for a long moment, then let out a slow sigh. Very well. This humble commoner is willing to serve your Majesty. Medusa thinks to herself, I knew I could not handle you with gentleness alone. The more you resist, the more interesting this becomes. The next day, in the Golden Throne Hall, the Empress sits high upon the Dragon Throne. Her voice is cool and decisive as she announces, My dear Minister Kai is a man of exceptional talent. I hereby appoint him Vice Minister of Rights. Does anyone object? The entire court exchanges glances. For a moment no one speaks. Then Duke Hector of the Western Liang snorts and says with disdain, Your Majesty, a man of no standing, a blind man from the wilderness, has no business sitting in a position of power. I cannot see his smug face, but I feel every bit of that contempt hitting me like a wave. Mock me, will you? You just kicked a hornet's nest. I smile coldly on the inside while quickly scanning my mental list of the Wei Empire's future villains. I need to make a statement, and you are first on the list. I cut him off mid-sentence. Duke Hector, I begin calmly. In order to break through his cultivation bottleneck, he resorted to a forbidden dark art, poisoning 100,000 innocent lives as a ritual sacrifice. An act of pure evil, utterly without humanity. I happen to know a demon-reveal curse that will force this man to show his true face. Before anyone can react, I recite a string of cryptic incantations off the top of my head. The Duke, who stood polished and composed just seconds ago, suddenly contorts, his face twisting into something monstrous. From beneath his skin come faint, anguished wails, the cries of countless wronged souls straining to break free. Death by 1,000 cuts. The Empress slams her hand on the throne and rises, killing intent flooding the hall. Every minister goes pale with shock. Is this blind man actually an all-knowing oracle? Just then a young civil official mutters under his breath. He believes I must have done my research beforehand, that there is no such thing as reading fate. So I turn calmly in his direction and say, Oh? Then let me take a look at you while I'm at it. If I'm not mistaken, the third-place scholar from 3 years ago earned that title through cheating. Your father, trying to bribe the chief examiner, and wanting to make sure the favor would be remembered, made sure the gift would not be forgotten. He even had your childhood nickname, Little Mudball, engraved on the whip he used as the bribe. Am I wrong? The young official goes ash-white instantly, his knees buckle. He crumples to the floor with a thud and is dragged out by the imperial guards without ceremony. While the hall is still quiet, I give a small cough and stroll with great confidence right up to Chancellor Zheng and start patting around his face. The Chancellor feels that horribly familiar sensation again and wants to die of shame on the spot. Then I turn deadly serious. Chancellor, back in my hometown there is a village chief named Zheng Juzu. His birth date and destiny pattern are identical to yours. I strongly suspect he's a long-lost relative. Chancellor Zheng's face twitches. He thinks of his own disguise and cover identity. With every colleague staring at him strangely, he has no choice but to swallow his dignity and admit, yes, I do have an older brother like that. The court erupts in whispers. Wild rumors about secret children spread instantly. The Chancellor wants to cry but has no tears. A lifetime of spotless reputation, gone in minutes. He looks up at the Empress with sorrowful, betrayed eyes. Medusa waves her hand with a slightly guilty expression. Dismissed. Court is over. I am already plotting my escape back home when the Empress calls after me. My dear Minister, you have no fixed residence in the capital yet. Why not stay in the palace for now? It will make things easier. I find this a little surprising. According to the novel's plot, this Empress has always been known for being cold and aloof. Why is she being so warm toward me? Still, I bow and decline politely. Thank you for your Majesty's generous offer, but my wife is waiting for me at home. If I return too late, she will worry. The Empress lingers on the word wife, and something stirs unexpectedly in her chest. You really love your wife. I take a breath and dig out the cheesiest pickup line from my past life. In this vast and fleeting world, I love only three things: the sun, the moon, and you. The sun for the morning, the moon for the night, and you for every moment in between. Medusa's face goes scarlet. She has never heard anything so direct and raw in her life. Her heart is pounding like crazy. She has no idea what to do with herself. Then she blurts out, I think you said that very well. The words are barely out before she claps both hands over her mouth. Her mind screams disaster. She spins around and flees. I stand there, completely lost, and somehow make my way back to the new house in the capital. The moment I step through the door, a familiar, warm scent drifts over me. Babe, why are you out here? Medusa's pretty face is faintly flushed. She murmurs something barely audible. I am in a great mood. I stroll around the spacious new courtyard with my hands behind my back, feeling deeply satisfied. Not bad. Not bad at all. We actually have a place here in the capital now. Then out of nowhere, a scruffy old dog comes charging at me, barking like mad. Get lost! Get lost! Can't you tell the man of the house just came home? I swing a lazy kick to shoo it off and mutter under my breath. The heaven-scorching Qilin, sacred guardian beast of the Wei Empire, rolls across the ground 2.5 times and freezes completely. This divine being, treated like an ordinary guard dog by a blind man. It seethes with indignant fury. A dangerous glint fills its eyes. It crouches, about to lunge. I catch the faintest trace of a threatening aura, and without thinking I release a thread of shattering illusion's sword intent. Every hair on that old mutt's body stands on end. That supreme killing intent nearly sends its soul flying right out of its body. It performs the most dramatic 180 in history and goes gentle in under a second. Its tail starts wagging frantically. It shuffles over and licks me with total devotion. I finally smile with satisfaction. I reach out and ruffle its head. Really now, was that so hard? Why make things difficult for yourself? Yara stands nearby, jaw on the floor. How is a sacred divine beast more of a fawning lapdog than an actual dog? The very next morning, I rush to plant everything the system just gave me all over the courtyard, then pull out the celestial-grade dog chow and pour it into a bowl. Wen Kai, dinner time! The heaven-scorching Qilin is immediately offended. Back in the day, it marched with the founding emperor and swept across the known world. Even now, stripped of most of its power and stuck in dog form, it refuses to stoop to eating common dog food. Wen Kai would sooner starve. But the very next second, I shove its head straight into the bowl. The irresistible aroma detonates something inside it. This is no ordinary dog food. This is the legendary primordial chaos marrow, capable of nourishing the very core of a divine beast and worth more than any treasure in existence. It freezes for 1 full second. Then its face goes straight into the bowl. Its tail spins like a fan. Oh wow, this actually slaps. Just then the two women step out from inside and stop dead at the sight of the soul-devouring blossom and heaven's harmony herb and black tortoise heartguard vine growing right in their courtyard. Yara rubs her eyes, wondering if she is still dreaming. Medusa's legs nearly give out. She barely stays on her feet. And the most jaw-dropping part, the sacred guardian beast she reveres as a divine protector is chained up with a dog leash. Right now, it is going at a dog bowl like it has not eaten in several lifetimes. The heaven-scorching Qilin is sprawled flat, tongue lolling out, its once mighty face now wearing the most pitiful pleading eyes imaginable. Yara takes one look at the scene and snatches the bowl away, tossing it aside. She pulls a chunk of spirit beast meat radiating visible energy from her storage ring. Your Holiness, you are the sacred guardian of this empire. You cannot eat common feed. This is premium spirit meat, specially raised for you. She moves to undo the leash. But the scruffy old dog shoots a sideways glance at the spirit meat that powerful figures fight over and thinks, that stuff barely fills a tooth gap. Nothing compares to what was in that bowl. Right in front of a stunned Yara, Wang Kai uses its own paw to slip the leash back around its neck, then wiggles over to my feet, tail blurring, throat producing soft whimpering whines. Kai, what on earth did you put in Wang Kai's bowl? Medusa walks down the steps, completely bewildered. She cannot figure it out. A beast carrying the bloodlines of both the Qilin and the dragon, even in dog form it is anything but ordinary. How has it completely lost all dignity in a single day? Oh, nothing really. I have a lot of experience with dogs back home. Every dog in the village loved me. It probably just likes the look of me. I give the dog's head a practiced, casual rub and grin. Medusa's mouth twitches. She cannot exactly reveal the beast's true identity, so she swallows her confusion and turns to stare at the glowing plants filling the courtyard. She keeps a straight face. I suppose these spirit herbs also just happen to like you? I already have my story ready. I play it completely innocent. Spirit herbs? What spirit herbs? This morning there was a white-bearded old man selling vegetables at the gate. He looked so old and pitiful I bought everything he had and stuck it in the ground. Babe, you are not going to scold me for spending money, are you? Medusa stares at plants that could buy half the capital and feels a headache forming behind her eyes. That was no vegetable seller. That was the god of wealth in disguise. But she has her own secrets too, so she does not push it. After breakfast, Medusa says she has official matters to attend to and hurries off. Yara stays behind, saying she will come with me to receive my assignment. My lord, the court robe the palace sent yesterday. Would you like to try it on? Yara pokes her head around the door, arms full, holding an official robe embroidered with a third-rank sea dragon pattern. Meeting a superior calls for a little formality. I may keep a low profile, but appearances still matter. I nod. Yara seems to have fully settled into the maid role. She carefully helps me change. The hands that usually grip a sword are now surprisingly soft and gentle. Her fingertips accidentally brush across my chest, and this woman who is normally as cold and composed as winter ice goes instantly red, jerking her hand back like she touched a live wire. I will handle it myself. I am not used to being waited on. Yara refuses, firmly. For some reason she is unusually insistent today. Even with her face burning as hot as boiling water, she keeps fumbling with my collar. It takes her a full hour before she finally lets go, forehead beaded with sweat. I pick up my cane, run my fingers along the crisp fabric of the robe and smile. Let's go, off to the Chancellor's residence. Walking down the street, gossip fills the air from every direction. Did you hear? The Empress has a new favorite, and he's blind. A third-rank Vice Minister of Rights of all things. If the real Imperial Consort ever finds out, he will probably tear the roof off. Yara pulls her hat low over her face, listening to the ridiculous chatter, rolling her eyes so hard they nearly disappear. These ordinary people have no idea that the new favorite and the Imperial Consort are the exact same person. But who could have guessed that beneath the surface of this glittering capital, a killing intent is quietly rising? In a pitch-black cave outside the city, Zane spits a mouthful of blood, eyes dark with venom. The phantom avatar he poured countless resources into, seen through and destroyed by that blind man in one glance. This is a threat unlike anything he has ever faced. Kai, you are looking for death. He grits his teeth and opens a communication channel. A shimmer of light ripples, and slowly materializes a figure in a deep purple dress. Dangerously curvaceous, deliberately stunning. Her serpentine waist and pale skin glow in the candlelight, utterly magnetic. She turns a heavy-lidded gaze toward him, dripping with seduction. V, I need you to kill someone. The Imperial Consort of Wei, Kai. Do this, and I will reunite you with your little brother. The woman named V lights up with emotion, her voice trembling as she accepts. The connection closes. Zane lets a cruel smile spread across his face. What a shame. That so-called brother died in an experiment long ago. I, of course, know nothing about any of this. I step into Chancellor Zheng's study. This official greets the Chancellor. Before I can even bow, Chancellor Zheng leaps up like he has seen a ghost and rushes to steady me. The smile plastered on his face looks more painful than tears. Vice Minister, no need for formalities. Please sit. Inside, he is desperately hoping this walking disaster will leave as fast as possible. I, however, settle in quite comfortably. I sit down with a cheerful smile. I am new here. If there is any work to be done, Chancellor, feel free to assign it. I am absolutely bored out of my mind with nothing to do. The Chancellor shakes his head like a rattle, muttering inwardly, who in their right mind would dare give you orders? Just as I am about to make my exit, a delicate fragrance drifts through the air. Wait, please do not go yet, allow me a word. A strikingly alluring woman steps out slowly. Slender fingers settle on my shoulder, her fingertips trailing almost imperceptibly across my chest. Her voice is so soft and sweet it could melt bone. This woman is V, the assassin operating under a false identity. She is confident that her charms can handle a man with zero cultivation. A blind one, no less. Easy. I frown and quietly step back, trying to put some distance between us. But no matter how I shift, that soft hand follows. Excuse me, who are you? I am V, 6th rank Bureau Director of the Ministry of Rights. She gives a small smile, eyes shimmering with practiced allure. Beside them, Chancellor Zheng's eyebrow twitches hard. His stomach drops. Is this woman seriously hitting on the Empress's man in broad daylight? She has an absolute death wish. Yara's face is already cold as frozen stone. Her sword hand trembles slightly, lightning flickering behind her eyes. Right as I am about to snap, V suddenly lets go and glides backward with effortless grace. This push and pull game is the oldest trick for getting under a young man's skin. Too bad she miscalculated. My eyes may be blind, but my mind is not. I ease back half a step without a word, alarm bells ringing in my head. First she invades my space, then retreats with fake modesty. Classic two-faced playbook. Sure enough, V instantly switches to a professional expression and turns to Chancellor Zheng. Chancellor, it would not look good if the Vice Minister sat idle on his first day. You mentioned Her Majesty's birthday banquet just now. Why not let me assist the Vice Minister with the arrangements? The suggestion sounds perfectly reasonable on the surface, but underneath every word is a calculated move to get closer to me. I sigh inwardly. The most dangerous schemes always come wrapped in kindness. Chancellor Zheng cannot possibly agree on behalf of the Empress's actual consort, but facing my perfectly calm expression, he gives a helpless smile. Fine. Let it be as you say. And just like that, the miserable job of planning a birthday banquet lands on me. I want to knock this woman out cold with my cane, but I keep my official composure and nod my agreement. Leaving the Chancellor's residence, the three of us walk the street together and the atmosphere is extremely strange. V's smile is bright, her voice ringing like a silver bell. Vice Minister, Her Majesty's birthday is only 7 days away. Why don't we find a quiet place and talk through the details over candlelight tonight? We should plan this carefully. As she speaks, her blade-sharp gaze cuts across to the icy Yara beside us. Yara frowns slightly. She thinks, this maid's cultivation is impossible to read. If I want to make a move, I need to find a way to get her out of the picture first. Yara turns, her gaze cold as ancient ice. V smiles sweetly and stares right back without blinking. The two women lock eyes and the air between them practically sparks. I walk in the middle, pretending to notice none of it, tapping my cane and sighing. Nothing matters more than a good meal. Whatever it is can wait until after I eat. Perfect timing, actually. I just arrived in the capital and I have nowhere to stay yet. I wonder if I might be lucky enough to taste your cooking. V has made up her mind to stick to my side and turns on her most helpless honeyed charm. Yara cuts in without warning. No, the Vice Minister has a wife. Have some self-respect. I am just asking for a meal, nothing else. You are only a maid. A bit out of your lane, are you not? Someone might mistake you for the Vice Minister's actual wife. V blinks with exaggerated innocence. The conversation is spiraling fast. I quickly step between them before these two beautiful women come to blows in the street. Look, I am just a live-in husband. My wife runs the household. If you want to come, come, but whether you stay is up to her. A live-in husband? V freezes completely. She never expected that this powerful new imperial favorite, a third-rank official, was actually living off his wife. Yara looks completely displeased. She starts to speak, then holds back. It is fine. Yara, let's go. I wave it off, unconcerned. But the calculating V freezes the moment she hears the name Yara. Her eyes sharpen instantly. She stares hard at that seemingly ordinary, slightly awkward maid. That is her, the legendary ice sword immortal known across the world. Serving a blind man as his maid? We soon arrive back at the house. In the courtyard, a woman in a domestic apron carries steaming dishes out of the kitchen. You are back just in time. Wash up and eat. Medusa gives me a warm smile, but her gaze quickly shifts to the alluring V, an eyebrow lifting slightly with a measuring look. She is a colleague, just here for dinner. I say it like nothing. A flicker of displeasure crosses Medusa's eyes, barely visible but there. Still, as the lady of the house, she smiles generously. Of course. But V looks like she just took a lightning bolt. Her entire mind is in chaos. That aura, bone-deep, imperial, absolute, buckles her knees. The the Empress? This assassin who kills without hesitation is now barely holding herself together. V opens her mouth and nearly blurts it out. Medusa swiftly presses a finger to her own lips, fires a sharp warning glare at V, and gestures toward me. V gets it immediately. She nods rapidly and clamps her mouth shut. She looks at the table. Getting to eat food cooked by the Empress herself, even if she loses her head tomorrow, it is worth it. She happily picks up a piece of fish and places it in her mouth. Bitter, spicy, salty, and fishy explode across her tongue all at once. V's vision goes dark. She nearly gags. What is this? Is it poison? She peeks around and sees me and Yara both staring straight ahead, forcing it down with pained expressions. Is it not good? Medusa notices the mood and asks, eyes wide with hope. Terrible, I say, completely honest. So delicious. V shoots a thumbs up immediately, survival instinct in full force. It is fine, Yara says flatly, quietly rinsing her mouth with tea. Medusa nods, her gaze drifting briefly to V's figure. Her eyes rest there a moment, then she pushes the entire plate of fish across the table. If you like it, have more. V's smile turns to stone. She squeezes her eyes shut, tears streaming, and chokes down the whole plate like she is swallowing hot coals. When she opens her eyes, she could swear she sees her late grandmother waving at her from the other side. Look at you, eating so fast. No rush, there is plenty more. Medusa smiles with deep intention, and slides several more plates across. V covers her mouth, gagging, saliva pooling dangerously. I cannot watch this any longer. I stand up and pick up the dishes. Let me fix these up. This is your first time cooking, so nothing should go to waste. Medusa's voice carries a faint, unconscious edge of imperial command. I smile gently. My lady, that is not quite right. I am only adjusting a few small details on top of what you made. That is not waste, that is teamwork. Like an emperor who draws the grand map of a kingdom, and the minister who fills in the details. Without your foundation, there is nothing for me to build on. The courtyard falls into a silence so complete it is almost frightening. The Empress says nothing. The ice sword immortal's chopsticks drop to the ground. Even the assassin is stunned. Was that a confession? Those words are sweeter than honey. V sneaks a glance, and is alarmed to find that the woman who kills without blinking now has ears red enough to drip. Smooth. Way too smooth. Yara quickly pulls out a small notebook and mutters as she writes down every word of that line. Even for an empress who is unmatched in both governance and combat, she is still just a girl who has never been in love when it comes to something like this. A short while later, I come back with the remade dishes. Medusa quickly picks up a slice of meat and brings it elegantly to her lips. A taste unlike anything she has ever experienced explodes across her tongue. Her body gives a small, involuntary shiver. Her eyes light up with a brightness that has never been there before. You were right, it really is delicious. She breaks into a radiant smile, the first truly pure and unguarded smile she has worn since becoming Empress. Then have more. I smile and add another piece to her bowl. The Empress has completely dropped any pretense of imperial dignity. Two little playful fangs catch the sunlight as they gleam. Her bright eyes shimmer with a warmth that is almost girlish. Of course, I am not done yet. Yara beside them quietly purses her lips. Her chopsticks have not moved in a while. She barely touched her food, but she has had her fill of watching this couple be adorable. It looks like the Empress has genuinely fallen. After about half an hour, Medusa reluctantly pulls herself away and hurries back to handle the mountain of state affairs piling up at the palace. Vice Minister, we should really discuss the birthday banquet now. The moment Medusa leaves, Bee is right beside me, pressing with an odd gleam in her eyes. Not yet, I say, dust off my robe and stand up. I reach for the leash nearby. Wankai, let's go for a walk. The heaven-scorching Keelan lets out a low, miserable groan. A sacred guardian of an empire, reduced to being walked on a leash, it flops down flat onto the stone tiles and refuses to move. I yank hard on the leash. It still does not budge, so I kick it squarely in the backside. Get up. Go outside and do your business. You leave anything in this courtyard, and I am making stew tonight. The scruffy beast seethes, veins bulging at its temple. I am a divine sacred creature. I do not even need to relieve myself. It is about to snarl when it catches itself, because it hears me say calmly, I am counting to 3. If you are not up, not one single piece of dog chow for you, ever. Next second, the once proud divine beast leaps to its feet instantly, tail wagging at full speed, licking devotedly at my leg. Dignity means nothing when the celestial grade dog chow is on the line. Being a loyal, adoring dog actually has its perks. I lead Wankai out the gate with satisfaction. Yara and V exchange a glance, and follow with helpless sighs. But right now, General Shu, the legendary guardian general of the Wei Empire, is storming into the capital in a fury. These rebels have unbelievable nerve. General Shu is so furious his face has gone pale green. He had been dispatched on a secret mission to inspect the border, and discovered that nearly half the commanders there had already secretly defected to the rebel leader Wang Yuan. He does not even pause to remove his armor. Riding hard, he writes an urgent report on horseback and sends his most trusted aide racing ahead to the Empress. Once that is done, he decides to find Kai first. He is looking for a way to break the rebel faction completely, and this man with the reputation of a sage might hold the answer. But just as General Shu rounds a street corner, he spots me. I am standing there, holding a leash, muttering at a crooked tree. Come on, just go. We've been out here forever. What is the holdup? The heaven-scorching Keelan glances around nervously. No one it recognizes. And Yara would never say a word. It steels itself, closes its eyes, and lifts a hind leg with practiced ease, savoring the rare relief. Kai! That familiar voice crashes down like thunder. The old mutt goes completely rigid. Its eyes go wide as plates, but the momentum is already unstoppable. It cannot stop midway, so it keeps going, while mechanically turning its now soulless head. Their eyes meet. General Shu freezes on the spot. He even rubs his eyes, wondering if the desert wind at the border has finally gotten to him. That is the heaven-scorching Keelan, guardian of Wei for 100 years, squatting by the roadside like a stray. The mutt quickly retracts its leg. Its gaze goes completely blank, the look of a creature that has seen through all of existence, an old bond built across countless years, washed away by one moment of weakness. I sense someone approaching, smile, and give the newcomer a pat on the shoulder. Old Ironsmith, what brings you to the capital? Come on, drinks are on me. General Su's face twitches. He forces a dry laugh. I'm here to visit some family. V beside them is completely dumbstruck. She is frozen solid. That is General Shu, the man who destroyed 6 kingdoms in a single campaign, the greatest warrior of the Wei Empire. How is he acting this humble in front of Kai? Is Kai actually a hidden sword saint? Yara quickly tugs my sleeve and whispers, My lord, do not forget the birthday banquet. Right, right. I slapped my forehead and turned to General Shu a little apologetically. Today is not a great time. I have got something on. We will have that drink another day, a proper one, I promise. Turn around and head back, tugging Wang Kai along. But right then, a crisp system chime rings in my ear. Fated protagonist Zane has been successfully suppressed. 800 fate points deducted. Rewards granted, immortal grade technique. 1 breath, 3 clones, plus 20 years of pure cultivation experience. In an instant, the spiritual power inside me surges like boiling water, roaring through every meridian. I break straight through into the late stage of the mind-forged realm. The kind of power that could shatter the sky with a finger, cut down a horde of demons with one sword strike. And the best part, this immortal grade technique lets me split into 3 clones, each carrying 60% of my full power, all sharing one mind. Zane is an absolute walking loot drop. Back in the courtyard, V and I sit across from each other beneath the peach blossom tree, going over the banquet plans. Meanwhile, outside the city, Zane has just learned that his border contacts have been swept up. His face contorts with rage. It is all the fault of that blasted blind man. He seethes and pulls from his robes a strange, unnerving artifact, a twin pupil relic eye, a relic left behind by an ancient cultivator of immense power. Once a target has been marked, they cannot hide. He smirks coldly and channels his secret technique. The viewing screen slowly brightens. He wants to see whether V, kept in line through the threat to her brother's life, has gathered any useful intelligence. But what he sees hits him like a bolt of lightning. In the peach blossom courtyard, V has her face cradled in both hands, wide, dewy eyes fixed on the handsome young man with dark silk wrapped around his eyes. Kai, what gift are you planning to give for the Empress's birthday? Her voice is breathlessly sweet, not a trace of an assassin about her. Have not decided yet. The young man smiles faintly, like a breeze drifting through a spring afternoon. Your dog is so well behaved, how do you do it? Simple, no obedience, no food. The two of them chat back and forth, while peach petals drift around them. The whole scene is so cozy and sweet it practically overflows the screen. Inside the vision, V's eyes have gone completely glassy. Zane watches, a girl who has fallen completely head over heels, flirting shamelessly with the man he hates most. He spits a mouthful of blood, his vision goes dark, he nearly drops dead from rage right there, his most carefully cultivated weapon, fawning over his greatest enemy in broad daylight while he watches. As Zane stares at the scene unfolding on screen, he shakes so hard with fury that he topples straight backward, crashing into the decorative screen behind him. V would never betray me. Something else is going on. He hauls himself upright, forces out a strained, unconvincing smirk, but his eyes are dark enough to drip. She must be seducing Kai, trying to lower his guard. Only even that flimsy excuse feels absurd to him. There is no one else in that courtyard. What is she seducing? The furniture? Just take him out already. Meanwhile, back under the peach blossom tree, V still has her chin in her hands, those enchanting eyes full of anticipation. Kai, how do you think the Empress's birthday banquet should be arranged? I cannot help but smile. Honestly, this is simple. It is just a massive company team to building event. First, make a public announcement. Let the whole empire know it is a celebration. Then invite all the powerful nobles and officials for a banquet. After dinner, arrange some entertainment. Everyone lines up to present gifts, finish with a martial arts tournament, poetry, music, dance, performance, run through it all. Done. I reach into my sleeve and pull out a jade scroll I prepared ahead of time, handing it over. Follow the plan inside. V takes it like a treasure, presses it to her forehead, and reads carefully. She cannot stop exclaiming, Kai, you are brilliant. An arrangement like this is truly unlike anything I have ever seen. She keeps praising while casting heavy-lidded glances at me from beneath lowered lashes. But the kind of look that turns ordinary men to jelly has absolutely zero effect on this blind man. V rubs her sore eyes, all that winking has started to ache, and feels a wave of quiet bitterness, truly and completely winking at a blind man. I run my fingers along my cane, frowning slightly. In the original novel storyline, there was no character like this close to the protagonist, but there was a famous assassin with the same name. V, what do you think of Zane, the Northern Prince? I ask casually, like it just crossed my mind. V blinks, then curls her lip with disdain. Her voice goes sharp and cold. An arrogant, overindulged second-generation heir. He bullies anyone he wants, hiding behind his family name. His existence is a waste of air. Then she turns to look at me, and her voice softens like warm water. Zane is a toad who is not fit to be compared to a single hair on your head. I nod quietly. V has extraordinary talent in soul cultivation. She will eventually reach the mid-stage of the mind-forged realm, but fate has not been kind to her. She still does not know that her little brother died long ago. She is still loyally risking her life for Zane, completely in the dark. On the other end of the viewing screen, Zane is already red in the face, veins thick at his neck. He lets out a furious roar and smashes the priceless 9 dragon cup in his hand. He shouts into the shadows, "Seven-Blade Master, kill them both!" From the darkness, a gray-robed old man slowly steps forward, 7 short blades hanging at his waist. He bows without expression, accepts the order, and dissolves into nothing. Back under the peach blossom tree, I sit rubbing my chin, thinking through the menu for the Empress's birthday banquet. V rests her face in both hands, eyes bright and fixed on me. Yara stands nearby with her sword in her arms, alert and watchful. Then a sudden gentle breeze passes through. Peach blossom petals swirl through the air. The seven-blade master appears behind me without a single sound. All 7 blades leave their sheaths at once, trailing cold, lethal light. At that exact moment, I stand up and stretch with a lazy yawn. My cane swings back casually and lands squarely on the 7-blade master's wrist. 7 short blades clatter to the ground. The 7-blade master freezes. His killing formation, 100 years in the making, shattered just like that. My cane bumps into something, and I tilt my head, confused. My empty gaze drifts toward where he stands. Was someone just there? The 7-blade master stumbles back, cold sweat soaking through his robes. This blind man, was that a fluke? Or does he actually? He grits his teeth and yanks a yellowed diagram from his sleeve. He is ready to unleash the ultimate strike hidden within the formation. 10,000 blades return to origin. But the moment it leaves his hand, a gust snatches it away. It floats, perfectly, impossibly, right into my hands. I feel the texture, then unfold it with idle curiosity. I cannot see a thing, but I can tell something is printed on it. V leans in for a look and immediately snorts. What is this supposed to be? The colors are an absolute disaster. Yara glances over too and says flatly, no composition. Looks like a 3-year-old scribble. I nod in full agreement. Tacky beyond saving, no wonder this guy ended up a villain. The 7-blade master hears every word, and his beard begins to tremble with pure rage. That diagram was his masterpiece. A carefully crafted layout designed to throw the Empress's birthday banquet into chaos, and these people are calling it ugly. He lets out a furious roar, sword energy erupting in all directions, his entire body becoming a streak of blade light aimed straight at me. I happen to be hunching over the diagram at that exact moment, and I sidestep without thinking. The 7-blade master cannot stop his momentum. He crashes headfirst into the dog kennel beside us. Wang Kai had been napping peacefully inside. He lets out an indignant "Awoo!" and bursts out of the kennel, absolutely furious. He launches into a relentless barking frenzy at the intruder. I hear the commotion and call out with genuine concern, Wang Kai, what's wrong? Is there a mouse? The 7-blade master crawls out of the kennel, a few strands of straw perched on his head. He has never suffered such a humiliation in all his years. Just as he moves to strike again, a strange, irresistible aroma stops him cold. Somehow, a bag of premium dog chow has appeared in my hands. I am scooping some out to calm Wang Kai down. The 7-blade master's stomach lets out a long, shameful growl. He had spent 100 years in cultivation, long past the need for ordinary food. But this scent is unbearable. I hear the growl and immediately understand. Oh, we have a guest who hasn't eaten yet. I reach into the bag, grab a handful, and hold it out. Here, don't be shy, try my special snack. The 7-blade master stares at the handful, his face cycling through shades of pale and green, but his hand moves on its own and takes it. He nibbles one piece with great caution, then his eyes go wide. This is a spiritual object infused with the essence of the Tao. He forgets entirely about his assassination mission and crouches on the ground, absolutely inhaling the rest. Wang Kai bares his teeth in protest. I quickly grab another handful and say soothingly, don't be stingy, share a little with our guest. V and Yara watch the whole scene unfold with deeply complicated expressions. This man is the 7-blade master. The name alone used to make entire sects tremble, and now he is crouching beside a dog kennel fighting over dog chow. Just then, footsteps approach from outside the courtyard gate. Empress Medusa steps inside. She had rushed over after hearing reports of an intruder, and this is the scene that greets her. The 7-blade master senses her presence and nearly loses his soul on the spot. He drops to his knees immediately. This servant greets your majesty. I hear your majesty, and blink, then it clicks. Ah, it is her majesty. This humble commoner failed to greet you properly. What is that? Medusa's gaze falls on the diagram in my hands. I answer honestly, just something I picked up a moment ago. The Empress takes it and looks it over. Her expression shifts slightly. Then she looks at me, long and searching, and lets out a quiet laugh. This is a rebel's banquet layout. My dear minister finds it offensive to the eye? I nod sincerely. The colors are chaos. The layout is cramped. Not a shred of beauty. A glimmer of amusement passes through the Empress's eyes. She then places all her hopes for the birthday banquet squarely on my shoulders. V bites back a smile from the side. Yara looks away without expression. The 7-blade master is still crouching by the kennel, half a handful of dog chow in his grip, unsure whether to eat it or not. The Empress glances at him once, then turns him over to the Imperial Guard. Several black-clad guards materialize without a sound and drag the 7-blade master away. As he is hauled off, he stares longingly at the bag of dog chow. I shake my head. He really was hungry. Medusa walks over to me, her voice soft. Whatever you need for the banquet, just say the word. I rub the tip of my nose, a brilliant idea suddenly forming. Your Majesty, rest assured, this humble commoner will throw a banquet unlike anything anyone has ever seen. Curiosity flickers in her eyes, but she asks nothing more. She trusts this blind man who always delivers surprises. After the Empress leaves, I stare blankly at the diagram. V inches closer and whispers, "So what exactly is your plan?" I smile, mysterious as ever. 4 words. A celestial New Year gala. Yara and V both stare at me blankly. I offer no further explanation. I am already running the checklist in my head. Lighting, sound, stage effects, none of it optional. There needs to be audience participation. A prize draw. Maybe a comedy skit or two to get people laughing. The more I think about it, the more I crack myself up. This is going to be good. Meanwhile, that hideous diagram gets casually slid under the teapot. The table corner was a little uneven anyway. Waste not, want not. I pat the teapot with satisfaction. The banquet preparations are complete, and all that remains is tonight. But my mind keeps drifting back to that little pink rabbit. The Empress's spiritual avatar has always seemed too fragile to me. Taking advantage of the quiet afternoon, I close my eyes, activate blind mode, and stretch my senses quietly toward the Empress's chambers. I just want to check on that little rabbit. The golden orb of light is still there, the tiny rabbit still clutching its carrot, but this time, I notice its ears drooping weakly. Dark ashen threads coil around its body. Those gray threads are slowly eating into the golden light. I frown. This does not look right. Right on cue, the system chimes in. High-level spiritual power anomaly detected. Analysis, old wound unhealed, cold toxin residue present. Recommends soul-devouring blossom for supplementary treatment. That is when I remember. I already used that herb. So the Empress really does carry a hidden wound inside her. No wonder her spiritual avatar looks so weak. I open my eyes. I stroke my chin and think. The soul-devouring blossom is gone, and the seed the system rewarded me with was only planted 3 days ago. But there are other warming herbs in the courtyard. I should be able to brew something to ease the condition. I get up and feel my way toward the herb garden. With blind mode active, I can see the flow of spiritual energy even with my eyes closed. Every herb glows with its own distinct color in my spiritual vision. Carefully pick out several with strong yang energy and add 2 more to balance the blend. Yara spots me crouching by the herb garden and walks over. "My lord, do you need help?" I shake my head and say I'm just making a wellness tea blend. She asks nothing more and stands quietly at my side. I take the selected herbs, rinse them carefully, and place them into the medicine pot. I add spirit spring water and let it simmer over a low flame. With blind mode on, I can see the medicine properties merging in real time. Streams of colored energy weaving and spinning inside the pot, slowly condensing into a warm, amber-orange glow. As the medicine simmers, I find myself muttering under my breath. How does someone this young already have this many hidden injuries? Worse than mine even. She clearly hasn't been taking care of herself. The words barely leave my mouth when I hear a soft sound at the courtyard gate. Empress Medusa is standing at the entrance, in casual clothes today, her expression unreadable. She clearly heard every word. I scramble to my feet and bow, a little flustered. "Your Majesty, what brings you here? The banquet isn't until tonight." She walks slowly into the courtyard, her eyes settling on the pot. "What are you brewing?" she asks, her tone casual. "A wellness tea," I answer honestly. I scoop up a small spoonful to test the temperature, but she reaches out and takes the spoon naturally. "Let me try." She brings it to her lips and tastes it slowly, her cool, composed eyes widening just slightly. "This formula," I smile and explain. "Just some warming herbs, good for the body with regular use." She sets the spoon down. There is a brief silence. Then quietly, "You know, don't you?" Play dumb. "Know what?" She stares directly into my eyes, even knowing I cannot see, "that I am Medusa, that I carry old wounds, that I have been deceiving you for a very long time." I scratch the back of my head, keeping my voice easy. "All I know is my wife isn't in great shape. She needs someone to look after her, to take care of her properly. Everything else is secondary." The Empress goes still. Every carefully prepared word she had ready lodges in her throat. I reach into my robe and pull out a small paper packet. Inside are a few amber-colored candy drops. Made these while the medicine was simmering. Throat lozenges. Tell me if they are sweet enough. I pick one up and hold it naturally to her lips. Her mouth opens on instinct and takes it. The sweetness melts across her tongue with a faint, clean herbal finish. The color that rises in her cheeks is visible from a mile away. The serious mood dissolves in an instant. I grin. "Good?" She makes a muffled sound of confirmation around the candy. Those eyes that always carry such imperial authority, now just a little panicked. She seems like she wants to say something, so I pop another one in. "Have more. Good for your throat." She is completely silenced by the second piece. All she can do is puff out her cheeks and glare. But there is not a shred of imperial dignity left in that look, more like a small creature being hand-fed. Yara has quietly turned her back to us at some point, shoulders trembling. I keep stirring the medicine and say casually, "1 bowl a day from now on, should be better within 3 months." She swallows the candy, her voice is very small. "Why are you so good to me?" I answer like it is the most obvious thing in the world. "You are my wife, who else would I be good to?" She goes quiet again, but I can hear her breathing deepen. In blind mode, I see that golden orb pulsing wildly. The pink rabbit is rolling around inside the light, ears shot straight up, absolutely beside itself. A long moment passes. Then quietly she says, "After the banquet tonight, I have something to tell you." "All right, I will be here." She turns and leaves quickly, her steps a little unsteady. I go back to tending the medicine, a smile on my face. That little rabbit is surprisingly shy. Once the medicine is done, I strain it carefully and pour it into a jade bottle. I ask Yara to deliver it to the Empress's chambers with instructions to drink it daily. Yara takes the bottle with an unreadable expression. "My lord, you really are." She does not finish, but I understand. I wave her off and tell her to get going. The courtyard settles back into quiet. I sit down on the stone bench to rest. The system chimes again. "Key emotional event detected for player. Quest list updated. Please review at your earliest convenience." I cannot be bothered right now. The quests are not going anywhere. My mind wanders instead to what the Empress plans to say tonight. Surely she is not about to confess everything? I have already guessed most of it anyway. But since she has not said it herself, I have been happy to pretend I do not know. Things are easier that way. Wankai wanders over and rubs against me. I scratch behind his ears. "You better behave yourself tonight. No sneaking food when no one's looking." He whines in protest. I laugh and toss him a handful of dog chow, already looking forward to the evening, the banquet, and whatever comes after. Whatever she says, life goes on, and it only gets better from here. I hum a little tune as I get up from the bench. Yara has returned from the errand and stands quietly by the gate. I pat my stomach. Feels like this calls for a celebration. "Before the banquet tonight, let's pick up some fresh ingredients. Yara, come with me. We are going to the market." I call into the house. "Wankai, you too." He rockets out of his kennel, tail going like a propeller. Yara answers softly, "Yes, my lord." And just like that, one man, one dog, and one sword immortal head out the door. The afternoon streets of the capital are alive with noise. Vendors calling out, children laughing, all of it blending into one warm hum. I walk slowly with my cane, in an unusually good mood. With blind mode on, I can sense the spiritual energy flowing around every person, each one carrying their own colored aura. Pale white for ordinary people, faint teal for low-rank cultivators. Occasionally, a brighter cluster passes, a government official. We keep walking, when an exasperated sigh drifts over from ahead. That voice, familiar, sounds like Chancellor Zheng. I turn my senses in that direction and sure enough, I pick up the aura that belongs to him, dense with official energy, swirling intensely around a stone table. Across from it is a lively burst of orange, a child. Yara whispers beside me. "The Chancellor is playing chess against a street kid. He has lost 3 games in a row." I nearly choke, trying not to laugh. This man runs an empire and cannot beat a child at chess. As we get closer, I hear Chancellor Zheng's voice, stubborn and wounded. "One more round." This old man refuses to believe it. The child's clear voice fires back. "A promise is a promise, Grandpa. If you lose, you owe me a candied hawthorn skewer." I cannot help myself. "Rough day at the board, old pal?" Chancellor Zheng spins around, sees me, and his face goes through a whole emotional journey. He wants to look dignified. He also just lost to a child 3 times. Finally he manages, "Care to give it a try, my friend?" I am out here to relax anyway, so I smile and agree. I settle onto the stone bench and close my eyes, activating blind mode. The board appears in my spiritual vision with perfect clarity, every piece glowing faintly. I can read the entire flow of the game, every shift in momentum. The child says proudly, "Your turn, blind uncle." I smile, feel for a piece, and place it. The moment it lands, the child goes quiet. Chancellor Zheng cannot contain himself. Brilliant. From there, every move I make looks casual, but always lands exactly where it matters most. The child gets more and more frantic, his little face turning red. Then I place the final stone, and the child bursts into tears. Blind uncle is a bully. Still sobbing, he remembers the stakes. "I still want my skewer." Chancellor Zheng, in the best mood he has been in all day, pulls out his coin without hesitation. "Buy you 2. The boy stops crying immediately, grabs both skewers and runs off laughing. The Chancellor turns to me, his voice full of genuine wonder. "My friend, that was extraordinary." I wave it off modestly. "Just lucky." In truth, playing in blind mode is no different from playing with perfect sight. While we are still talking, an official in plain clothes comes rushing over. He leans in and whispers something to Chancellor Zheng. The Chancellor's expression shifts immediately. He turns to me and bows. "Forgive me, my friend, urgent business, we will continue another time." He leaves at a brisk pace. The moment he turns, I close my eyes and catch a glimpse of the note passed by the official. The spiritual energy radiating from it is off. Faint traces of blood and the edge of steel. A military dispatch from the northern border. But that is not my problem right now. I continue on with Yara and Wankai toward the market. Yara falls into step beside me and says quietly, "You seem to be in a good mood today, my lord." I smile. "The weather is nice?" "Good weather puts me in a good mood." She goes quiet for a moment, then pulls a small notebook from her sleeve and scribbles a few words with a charcoal pencil. I ask curiously what she is writing. Yara, rarely flustered, snaps the notebook shut. "Nothing, just some daily notes." In blind mode I can see the cover of that notebook. Emperor Consort Observation Journal, written in delicate script. The latest entry reads, "Today the Emperor Consort smiled like a cat who got the cream, clearly in an excellent mood." I keep a very straight face, playing completely oblivious. We walk on and reach my usual market stall. The vendor is an old acquaintance. We chatted about the situation at the northern border just the other time. He waves me over enthusiastically. "Back again. Just got in some fresh spirit vegetables today." I pick out a few seasonal ones and grab a live fish for the evening. While I am paying, the vendor leans in and drops his voice. "Have you heard anything, sir? Word is the border's getting restless." I pause for just a moment, then answer calmly. "Court affairs? What would ordinary folk like us know?" The vendor laughs it off. "Fair point." Shopping done, we head back. Passing a tea house, I hear a storyteller's booming voice inside, recounting how the Empress brought peace across the land after her coronation. I stop to listen for a moment. Yara asks softly, "Would you like to go in?" I shake my head. We need to get back and prepare. As I turn to leave, a group in traveling clothes steps out of the tea house, talking in low voices. What I catch makes me slow down. Troops moving at the northern border. Something is coming. The Empress's birthday banquet. Every faction in the realm gathered in one place. The perfect moment to strike. These people carry a sharp, hostile energy. Clearly not friendly travelers. Yara has already clocked them, hand drifting toward her sword hilt. I give a small shake of my head. Not yet. This is not the moment to tip them off. The group disappears around the corner, commit their spiritual signatures to memory, and make a mental note to stay alert for anything similar at the banquet. Back at the courtyard, I get to work on the ingredients. Yara helps prep. Wang Kai plants himself at the kitchen doorway, drooling. I chop vegetables and ask casually, "Yara, do you think tonight will go smoothly?" Yara answers without hesitation. "With you here, my lord, it will." "That's a lot of confidence you have in me, because you always find a way." That actually makes me blush a little. I change the subject fast. "Remind me tonight. The effects for Her Majesty need to go off on time." Yara notes it without a word. Just as the ingredients are nearly prepped, V comes rushing back in. She had gone for a final walkthrough of the banquet venue. She bursts through the door. "Everything is perfect. The workers are doing final adjustments as we speak." I nod and tell her she did well. V drifts over to the prep counter, eyes lighting up at the spread of ingredients. "Need any help?" I think about it and put her on plating duty. Her sense of style is actually good. The three of us and one dog work through the kitchen until dusk. As the sun dips below the horizon, everything is ready. I change into my new formal robe. Blind as I am, Yara says it suits me well. Wang Kai has even had a bath. His coat is gleaming. V has changed into a pale lavender dress. Less striking than usual, more refined. Yara stays in her plain white dress, sword on her back as always. We are just about to head out when there is a soft knock at the gate. Yara opens it and bows in surprise. "Your Majesty!" Empress Medusa stands at the door in casual clothes, no attendants behind her. I sense that her spiritual energy has softened slightly. The medicine is working. "I was passing by. I will walk with you." I have no objection at all. And so, 4 people and 1 dog set off toward the Sky Palace. Along the way, the Empress walks beside me and occasionally gives me a quiet heads up. There's a step here. I can already see it perfectly in blind mode, but I let her guide me anyway. It is a nice feeling being looked after. As we near the Sky Palace, the Empress says suddenly, "After the banquet tonight, I will be waiting in the Imperial Garden." I nod. She pauses, then adds, "There are things I have wanted to say for a long time." I smile. As it happens, so do I. She seems to breathe a little easier after that, her steps a touch lighter. Yara and V trail behind us. They exchange a glance. Both find the same smile looking back. Wang Kai runs out in front of us, occasionally glancing back to make sure we are keeping up. The setting sun stretches our shadows long across the path, like a warm and ordinary painting of everyday life. But I know what moves beneath the calm. Tonight, whatever comes, this banquet has to go perfectly. It is my birthday gift to her. I stand in the side hall of the Sky Palace, straightening my robe. Yara murmurs beside me, "It is nearly time, my lord." I nod. I take a slow, steady breath. Ready. Then the system blares in my head, urgent and rapid. Final quest unlocked. Save the Empress and reveal the quest background. Large-scale enemy force detected. Rebel leader Zane is leading a force of 100,000 troops, already outside the city walls. Quest objective, protect the Empress. Declare your feelings publicly upon victory. Reward, permanent open-eye access. Blind mode, freely toggleable. I blink. My first thought, does this even count as saving her? Come on, system, she can handle this herself. Why drag me into it? The words barely leave my mouth when a dull horn blast sounds from outside the palace. Then a guard's panic shout, "Enemy attack! The rebels are at the walls!" The hall erupts into chaos. Guests scatter in every direction. Empress Medusa rises from her throne. Her face is ice cold. Her voice cuts through everything. "Imperial Guard Commander, where are you?" General Shu strides forward. "Here, your Majesty, protecting you and meeting the enemy." He clasps his fists and marches out. I stand there with a helpless look on my face. Zane really has a talent for timing. Of all nights, a perfectly good birthday banquet ruined. The system chimes in again. Player has entered combat scenario. Battlefield analysis mode temporarily unlocked. Blind mode can now switch to battlefield analysis mode. I close my eyes and activate it. The entire city's spiritual energy unfolds before me. Outside the walls, a dense mass of blood-red spiritual energy is massing, the condensed killing intent of the rebel army. And deep within that red, one mass of energy stands out, black as ink, seething with resentment. That is Zane. I open my eyes and turn to Yara. Yara, stay with the Empress. She looks at me with concern. And you, my lord? I'm going to say hello to an old friend. I walk out with my cane. V pushes through the crowd to reach me, urgent. Let me come with you. Stay inside, help keep order. She grits her teeth and follows anyway. We reach the plaza outside the palace. From the direction of the walls, war cries ring out. General Shu has the Imperial Guard deployed in formation already, but the rebels vastly outnumber them, and they have cultivators fighting alongside. The situation is not good. I close my eyes and scan the battlefield through blind mode. I find the problem almost immediately. Hidden within the rebel ranks are several powerful cultivators, working together to cast some kind of disruption formation. The defenders are rattled, their minds clouded, their combat strength cut in half. I say to V, do you see the ones in the gray robes? She follows where I am pointing and spots 3 cultivators hanging back behind the rebel line. Want me to take them out? I shake my head. I've got this. I pull the copper bell from my sleeve and give it a gentle shake. It rings out, clear and bright, amplified by spiritual energy until it reaches every corner of the battlefield. It cuts straight through the 3 cultivators casting. They look up, startled. I close my eyes, lock onto their positions, and do something very simple. I raise my hand and snap my fingers. In blind mode, I watch 3 threads of sword energy shoot from my fingertips and strike each of the 3 cultivators directly in their core nexus. They cry out and drop. The formation shatters. The defenders' morale surges. General Shu seizes the moment and launches a counterattack, but the rebel numbers are simply too great. The walls are cracking in multiple places. Then Zane appears on the battlements, laughing like a man unhinged. Medusa! Today is the day you die. The Empress has made her way to the plaza without my noticing. She stands beside me, perfectly composed. My dear minister, any ideas? Before I can answer, the system cuts in. Player can utilize blind mode to channel the city's spiritual energy into a defensive barrier. Recommend using the spiritual nexus points from the birthday banquet layout. My eyes light up. That is a great idea. I close my eyes immediately and push blind mode to full power. Every spiritual nexus in the city lights up before me. Every lantern formation set up for the banquet, now transformed into the perfect foundation for a barrier. I channel all of it toward the walls. A transparent wall of energy materializes outside the city. Rebel strikes hit it and ripple outward harmlessly. Nothing gets through. Zane loses his mind. He bites through his own tongue, spitting a mouthful of blood, using a forbidden technique to force his cultivation higher. His black spiritual energy balloons outward, and the barrier begins to crack under the pressure. I frown. This guy is not holding anything back. Just as I am trying to think of a counter, Wang Kai bolts from my feet. He charges to the center of the plaza and lets out a howl. Not a dog's howl, something ancient and commanding. Every eye on the plaza watches as his body begins to glow and expand. In moments he becomes a golden beast, 3 stories tall, twin horns crowning its head, scales like armor across its body, all 4 hooves wreathed in roaring flame. This is the heaven-scorching Keelan's true form. He glances over at me and speaks, in a human voice. Kid, hand the barrier over to me. Go deal with that clown. I blink, then nod. Deal. The Keelan raises his head and fires a pillar of golden light straight into the barrier, reinforcing it beyond anything Zane can break. At the same moment Yara moves. Her sword clears the scabbard, sword intent blazes skyward. She becomes a streak of blue light cutting through the rebel army, enemies falling behind her like harvested wheat. Chancellor Zheng appears out of nowhere, ledger in hand, and bellows, Zane, your entire grain stockpile has been seized by this official. The families of your generals are all in our custody. Surrender. Now. That hits harder than any blade. The rebel ranks erupt in confusion. Soldiers hesitate. Some start pulling back. Zane sees it, and completely snaps. He screams and launches himself from the battlements, hurling straight toward where the Empress is standing. I let out a slow breath. My turn. I close my eyes and bring up blind mode. Every move Zane makes is mapped in real time. His body has 13 spiritual circulation points. Disrupt just 3 of them, and his cultivation collapses entirely. I stroll forward with my cane, casually like I am going nowhere in particular, and step right into Zane's path. He swings his blade down with a vicious grin, every last bit of his power behind it. I sidestep. The cane taps, light as a feather. First strike, the spiritual point at his wrist. The blade flies from his grip. Second strike, the core nexus. Every current of energy in his body seizes. Third strike, the point between his brows. Zane locks up completely. Disbelief floods his eyes. How? I pull the cane back. You cannot play chess. You cannot fight. And as a person, a complete disaster. He opens his mouth, then drops. With their commander down, the rebel army collapses. The Imperial Guard presses the advantage and takes control in short order. The entire battle lasts less than half an hour. I release blind mode and open my eyes. Still darkness, of course, but the cheers around me are loud and clear. General Shu strides over and claps me hard on the shoulder. That's my guy. I stagger. Easy, these old bones can only take so much. The Empress steps over to me. Thank you, she says quietly. I feel a little embarrassed and scratch the back of my head. Don't thank me, it's nothing. The system chimes right on cue. Empress crisis resolved. Quest completion 80%. Player is urged to complete the public declaration at the earliest opportunity. My eye twitches. The system never lets up. But it is not wrong. Every set of eyes in the plaza is already on us. I take a deep breath and turn toward where I know the Empress is standing. I cannot see her, but I can feel exactly where she is. Your Majesty, this official has something to say. I clear my throat, genuinely nervous. The plaza goes completely silent. Every person in the crowd turns to look. Empress Medusa answers softly, "Go ahead, my dear minister." The system is screaming in my head, "Say it! Say it!" I take one more breath. My voice is calm, not loud, but clear. Your Majesty, is it possible for this official to take on a side role as Emperor Consort? The entire crowd draws a single, collective breath. I hurry to add, mainly because I want to cook for you, legally, for the rest of my life. Even as I say it, I realize how ridiculous that sounds. But it is exactly what I mean. The Empress is silent, long enough that I start to wonder if I have made her angry. Then I hear her voice, warm with a smile, thick with something like tears. Granted. 2 words. The weight of a mountain. The plaza holds its breath, then erupts. General Shu is first. Congratulations, Your Majesty! Congratulations, Emperor Consort! Chancellor Zheng strokes his beard with a pleased smile. 2 joyful occasions in one night. Yara says quietly beside me. Congratulations, my lord. V claps happily. Wang Kai is shifted back to his small form. He mutters beside me, just loud enough for me to hear. Finally, I, your lord, was getting anxious on your behalf. The system chimes right on cue. Congratulations, player, on completing the public declaration. All final quests complete. Distributing rewards now. Achievement unlocked, silent ascension. Reward, permanent skill, eyes open blind mode. Freely toggle between open and closed. When eyes are open, full vision of the real world. Spiritual vision fully retained. When eyes are closed, all original blind mode functions restored. I pause for a moment. That actually sounds pretty good. I try it, silently say the word open. The darkness that had held for 18 years shatters in an instant. Light floods in. I see the Sky Palace, vast and towering. I see the faces around me, everyone smiling. I see the Empress, her phoenix eyes faintly red. In her golden ceremonial dress, she is breathtaking. A tear still clings to the corner of her eye. I also see Yara, cool and composed as always, but with a faint smile. V is excitedly talking at whoever is nearest. Chancellor Zheng and General Shu are exchanging congratulations. Wang Kai sits on the ground, tail moving like a fan. Every person glows with their own spiritual aura, the real world and my spiritual vision layering over each other in a way that makes me a little dizzy. The Empress sees my eyes open and covers her mouth. Your eyes, I smile and shake my head. I can see, but I might still close them. She seems to understand. Her face opens into a smile. Either way, it is a good thing. I look around slowly, taking in every face and committing it to memory. Then I close my eyes. The world goes dark again. Familiar, clear. Being blind is just more comfortable. Too much light all at once makes me dizzy. I mutter quietly. The Empress laughs softly. Suit yourself. General Shu leans in with his usual volume. Tonight we drink until we cannot stand. Victory banquet and engagement celebration in one. Chancellor Zheng, for once, agrees. Indeed, tonight deserves a toast. And so a rushed but magnificent celebration begins. Workers scramble to reset the venue. The fallen soldiers are honored and cared for. Rebel prisoners are marched to the cells. Zane is stripped of his cultivation and held separately, awaiting trial. At the banquet, I sit beside the Empress. Eyes closed, as always. But I feel everything. Officials come forward one after another to offer toasts. I return everyone with tea. V sneaks in beside me and whispers, "Can you really see now?" I nod, then shake my head. I can, I just don't want to. She makes a thoughtful sound, then brightens. So I don't have to act like a proper lady anymore? I laugh. So you have been acting this whole time. Yara walks over with her cup. My lord, a toast. Take it and drink it in one go. She hesitates, then adds, do you want to read the journal? I wave my hands immediately. Keep it, it's yours. She visibly relaxes. Wang Kai ambles over. He headbutts my hand. I scratch his head. Why not change back? He grumbles. Changing back is too conspicuous. Being a dog is just easier. Also, my dog Chow genuinely slaps. I laugh and toss him a handful of my special blend. The Empress leans her head toward me. Thank you for everything today. I shake my head. Thank you for letting me mooch meals off you for the rest of my life. She laughs. In that case, the imperial kitchen is yours. I pat my chest. Leave it to me. The banquet runs deep into the night before the guests finally drift home. The Empress must return to deal with post-battle affairs. As she leaves, she says quietly, "Our imperial garden meeting. Let's make it another time." I agree. It is past midnight by the time I return to the courtyard. Yara helps me inside, then withdraws. I sit alone on the stone bench and try opening my eyes again. In the moonlight, the courtyard is quiet and beautiful. The spirit herbs glow faintly in the darkness. I see the world I could only sense before, real and vivid. But it really is too much light. I close my eyes. The familiar dark returns, richer and clearer than it ever was before. The system speaks. Is the player satisfied with the final reward? I ask right back, did it know all along this would happen? A brief pause. This system exists only to help the player find the path that suits them best. The path has been found. The system will now enter dormant mode. Call upon it whenever needed. I nod and say thank you. I do not know if it can understand, but the gratitude is real. The next day, life seems to settle back to normal, but nothing is quite the same. Every day, I head to the Imperial kitchen to work on new recipes. While the Empress reviews her memorials, I sit beside her. Sometimes I slip into blind mode just to check on her little spiritual rabbit. It is healthy and lively now, every dark thread long gone. Yara continues as my guard and personal attendant, but now the entire capital knows who she stands beside. No one dares treat her lightly. V has been officially moved to the Ministry of Rites, in charge of planning our wedding ceremony. She thrives in the role and loves every minute of it. Chancellor Zhang and General Xu drop by often, one to play chess, the other to drink. I am always sitting there with my eyes closed, but neither of them minds. Wang Kai is still Wang Kai, eat, sleep, repeat. General Xu teases him sometimes, and he bares his teeth in indignation, but he never shifts back to his true form. Says being a dog is just faster. 1 month later, the Empress issues a formal decree. I am named the heaven-leveling Emperor Consort to rule alongside her. When the decree is read aloud, I am simmering a broth. The eunuch sent to deliver it finds me tasting for salt. I receive the decree and go right back to stirring. The eunuch stares in absolute disbelief. The wedding is set for 3 months out. V barely touches the ground. Yara gets pulled in to help too. I somehow end up being the least busy person involved. My days are cooking and walking Wang Kai. Occasionally I show up at court, flip on blind mode to read which officials are up to something, and then casually call them out. The guilty ones break into cold sweats. Time passes quietly like this, until one day the Empress asks me in the Imperial study, "Don't you want to know what I meant to say that night?" I'm peeling an orange for her. "You will say it when you are ready." She is quiet for a moment, then begins softly. "I have known for a long time that you are not truly blind. I just never knew what you could see. And I know about the system, because I have one too. Mine is called the Empress Cultivation System. Its task, how to be a good ruler." My hands go still. "So we are in the same line of work." She nods, then shakes her head. "Yours has more heart than mine. Mine only issues governance tasks, and penalizes failure." I smile and hand her the orange. "Then I will help you complete them from now on." She takes it, and smiles. Deal. A few more days pass. Yara comes looking for me, and holds out a bound booklet. "My lord, this is the journal, properly compiled. I thought perhaps you might want to read it." I take it. The first page covers her observations from the first time she watched me practice sword forms. Flipping through, I find entry after entry. How I cook, how I walk Wang Tai, how I talk to people. In her words, I am someone who seems to know everything and nothing at once, always sitting there with eyes shut, yet seeing more clearly than anyone. I close the booklet and hand it back. Well written, but no more entries. She nods, face red. Then word finally comes about V's brother. We found him, the child from back then. He is alive, taken in by a farming family, now a sturdy young man. V collapses into tears the moment she sees him. The boy doesn't know her, but he is willing to call her his sister. I help them settle in the capital. From that day on, V throws herself into her work with twice the dedication. One afternoon over a chess game, Chancellor Zhang suddenly says, "The threat at the border has been resolved, thanks in no small part to your early warning, my friend." That brings back the memory of the blood-tinged note from that day on the street. He had already been preparing. That is what turned the tide. General Xu tells me separately that Zane has lost his mind in prison. He mutters endlessly, "Impossible, impossible." I just shake my head. Should have thought of that sooner. On the day of the wedding, the whole city celebrates. I wear the ceremonial robes of the Emperor Consort. The Empress wears her phoenix crown and bridal dress. We stand side by side and accept the bows of the people. She whispers, "Nervous?" "A little. More than you, actually." After the ceremony, we return to the chambers. She removes her crown and says softly, "This whole journey, it feels like a dream." My eyes are closed, but I know her expression. I answer honestly, "Not a dream. It is real, and it will keep going." She leans her head on my shoulder and lets out a soft sound of agreement. Outside, the full moon hangs high, the stars blazing. Life continues like this. Every morning I wake early and make breakfast. When the Empress leaves for court, I take Wang Tai for a walk in the Imperial Garden. Sometimes I watch Yara practice her sword forms and offer a pointer or two. I don't use a sword myself, but I can read her openings. V keeps coming by to report on wedding follow to up matters. The wedding is already over, of course. She just wants an excuse to visit. Chancellor Zheng and General Shu still drop by regularly. One always loses at chess, the other always drinks too much. They leave every time, blaming each other. Wang Kai has recently developed a passion for chasing butterflies. With his level of power, he could catch one in a single swipe, but he insists on flopping around like any ordinary dog. Says he is experiencing life. I open my eyes sometimes to look at the world, then close them again quickly. Light is nice enough, but the dark feels like home. And in blind mode, I see something truer, the flow of spiritual energy, the warmth and coldness between people, things that eyes alone can never fully show. The Empress has fully recovered. The cold ailment has not returned once. When she works through state affairs, I sit nearby and brew tea. I offer suggestions now and then, most of them half-baked, but she always considers them seriously. We keep each other company, like this, through one ordinary day after another. Until one day I am sitting there feeding Wang Kai with my eyes closed, the Empress leaning against me as she works through her documents, Yara practicing her sword in the distance, Chancellor Jing and General Shu arguing again, this time about whether to repair the waterways first or reinforce the city walls. I listen to all of it, and I feel completely full. This life, whether my eyes are open or closed, has always been full of light.